rights, at lahat po ng naibanggit ninyong mga issue. Ngayon po, balikan natin yung mga tanong po tungkol sa mga naisabi ng mga speakers natin kanina, sina Attorney Claire, MJ from CHR, and Christine from FPOP. Baka po mayroon kayong mga tanong. At ayan, si Carla Bautista po. Salamat.
Hi, I'm Carla Bautista from the University of the Philippines Open University, and I would like to know how, as an organization who is advocating for a topic that goes very much against the DNA of our country, which is patriarchal and capitalist, how did you start to gain traction to the point where you could openly discuss and educate people about this topic in a society where it's very much taboo?
Miss Carla, para po ba kay Attorney Claire yan? Or kanino po address?
This is for Pinsan. I'd love to hear the opinions of anybody who has them.
Okay, maraming salamat, Carla. Sino po sa Pinsan ang gustong sumagot nito? Baka si Attorney Claire or si Dicty?
Okay, I can start. Pinsan has been doing work with a lot of sectors. Prior to the drafting of the bill, we have been doing work with the communities as well, going to the hospitals, different hospitals all over the Philippines as well, talking about post-abortion care, access to post-abortion care, decriminalization of abortion. And when we drafted the bill, we conducted several consultation meetings. So we started with our networks. We had several international exchange meetings as well. So for the consultation meetings, we tried to target different sectors, from IP people, indigenous people, to workers, to women, to youth. We have different memberships from Pinsan, and we also have a wider network who also identified us as being allies of Pinsan. We have been doing a lot of the online sessions as well during the pandemic. Plus, when we launched the bill itself, this was during the pandemic, we did the online launching as well. We also conducted sessions with police officers and gender rights together with Pinsan as well. On the ground, we have been doing a lot of work together, for example, with Partido Manggagawa and in other groups. Bumababa kami sa komunidad. Tapos marami rin na work with, for example, Filipino free thinkers. Maraming trabaho sa mga youth. Kasama rin yung mga artists. Naglabas din ng album, for example, di ba? Together with WGNR. May launching din ito online during the pandemic as well. So merong mga on the ground. Pero even prior to Pinsan, meron na ring work, for example, yung Reproductive Rights Resource Group. And I think we started in the 90s. Pero gusto ko nga balikan din kasi from the past na merong mga older women na nagtatrabaho dito. Ngayon, marami tayong supporters. So kaya we encourage you to share this while it's ongoing on FB. Paki-share kasi the more times na i-share natin ito sa Facebook, mas maraming makakikita. And we'll be surprised kasi nga throughout the years, ako rin naglalabas ako ng madaming opinion, press releases. Yung Pinsan, marami na rin nailabas. Pero prior to Pinsan, gagawa kami ng press event. Alas mo lang dumating na media. So kumbaga, maraming strides at Iwan ko na lang doon. Pero katulad nga ng nabanggit, kailangan natin ng mas maraming tao kasama kayo doon. Thank you.
Salamat, Claire. Ayan. So, wait lang. Merong naunang question earlier from Maria Denise Micaela Doloroso. So, would you like to say your question or would you like me to read it now? Okay, so I'll read it na lang. How are we able to get people in the lower social class to get educated by these? It's difficult enough to reach out, but are there opportunities to aid them with this information since they're the ones most likely to be affected? Siguro po, maybe we can hear from MJ and Christine. Hello? Sorry, were you able to hear me?
Sorry, no? Is it MJ or I can? I'm just
Yes,
reading.
Miss Christine, pwede po.
All right. Thank you very much, Denise, for the question. I think one of the recommendations in this specific.
Sorry, Miss Christine, can you use your mic? Yes, thank you.
In this specific piece of research, FPOP recommends to adopt us for leading mo no? Maibahagi ang laban ng panalisip na ito doon sa mga doon sa mga socially excluded. And also, on a bigger picture, FPOP actually provides its services, both information and services, to the poor, no? To the PMSEU, to the poor, socially, to the marginalized and socially excluded. So that's one of the core principles of FPOP. Yun. Salamat.
Thank you po. Ayan. So, si Renier naman po, baka gustong mag-share ng question. Salamat po, Miss Christine.
Yes, hello po. Naisip ko lang, or I'm not sure kung napag-usapan na ito kanina kasi there were portions na hindi rin ako nakapag-focus because of work. But ito yung question ko. Ako nga po pala si Renier from TLF Share, no? Yung focus ng TLF Share kasi ay LGBTQIA+ rights. So, ang isa sa mga malaking issue na kinakaharap ng community ng LGBTQIA+ ay yung tinatawag nating corrective rape, no? Ito yung mga nire-rape na mga lesbians at nire-rape na mga trans men, no? Dahil may paniniwala tayo, no, bilang kultura na kapag ni-rape natin yung lesbian or kapag ni-rape natin yung trans man ay magiging babae na sila, no? Merong ganong paniniwala tayo, no? Na may kaugnay din sa patriarka. So at kapag nangyari ito, no, nagkakaroon ng mga pagkakataon na nabubuntis sila. At malamang sa malamang ayaw nilang mabuntis, ano. So ang question ko po ay simple lamang, no. Nakikita ko kasi na ito rin yung magandang entry point for the LGBTQIA+ na makiisa, no, sa advokasya ng abortion. So yung question ko po ay meron po ba tayong attempts, no, para i-document yung mga corrective rape at gamitin ang corrective rape bilang data to support abortion? Yun lamang po. Maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat, Renier. At siguro idadagdag ko na rin po yung tanong na paano po ba yung lack of access sa abortion or even reproductive health in general make matters worse for people who come from abusive situations, katulad nga po ng corrective rape na nabanggit ni Renier. So maybe po makarinig po tayo from MJ, kung pwede, or from Attorney Claire. Yes, Attorney Claire.
Okay. Simulan ko na. kahit sa iba't ibang violence against LGBTIQ people, mahina pa yung ating data gathering. So, nagkaroon dati yung Philippine LGBT Hate Crime Watch. Ginamit din natin ito sa ordinansa ng Quezon City. Isa ako sa nag-draft din ng Gender Free Ordinance. Dated. Ibig sabihin, matagal na yung mga data. Tapos kahit ng mga reporting natin noong 2016 sa CEDAW Committee, kahit ng 2023, hindi maayos yung data gathering, whether yung full range ng violations against LGBTIQ people's rights, including yung rape against lesbians and transgender men. So magandang magawa natin ito. In fact, sa totoo lang kapag nagko-conduct din ng pinsan ng mga trainings at Zoom, marami tayong supporter na mga transgender women. Pero ang hinahanap ko nga ay suporta from lesbian groups, yung trans men groups, yung gano'n. Kasi nga, it is an issue for pregnant persons, diba? Including yung diverse people with diverse SOGI. Kaya maganda na mahimok at mapag-usapan at tama, merong data tungkol dito.
Salamat, Attorney Claire. At maybe we can also hear from MJ tungkol dito kung may data ba ang CHR tungkol sa corrective rape cases at kung may data ba tayo sa mga
Sa
unintended
ngayon,
pregnancies.
okay. Sige, sorry. Okay, so yung data for correct, okay, wala po sa ngayon, but isa po sa mga gustong aralin, isa sa mga reports na gustong gawin actually namin next year ay situation naman on pressing issue ng rape po. So hopefully dito po namin siya mapag-usapan.
Oo, salamat. So, ayun nga, napakalaki ng nagiging experience ng mga tao, lalo na in these violent situations. And also when it comes to these unintended pregnancies. So, just to reiterate yung mga nasabi na ng mga speakers natin earlier, dahil nga as na-mention po ni Princess kanina, may institutional violence na nangyayari because we lack the option to exercise bodily autonomy in this country. And so, what are your thoughts on how this impacts people who are in need of abortions or possibly in the future would also need an abortion? Maybe makapagbigay po kayo, mga speakers, ng top 3 impacts po sa life ng kababaihan dito sa Pilipinas. And just quickly share with us siguro ano yung pwede nating gawin about it. And then for everyone in the chat, please share your thoughts on this. Thank you. Maybe we can call on Attorney Claire first.
Okay. Well, nabanggit ko na sa presentation ko. So I won't take time. Yung sinasabi natin ng impact, of course, would be the violation itself of the pregnant person's right dun sa kanyang personal decision to access safe abortion, and after the induced abortion to access post-abortion care if needed. And then yung for those who are unable to access, kasama dito yung forced pregnancy. Diba? So the forced pregnancy itself, for a lot of people, malaking problema ito. And then the concurrent impact on the life as well. So impact on her life, on the pregnant person's life, at saka the family. Kasi nga yung marami, poor yung mga pregnant person, di ba? So yung dumadaming anak lalo, mas malaki yung impact dun sa buhay ng pamilya.
Salamat, Attorney Claire. Ms. MJ?
Three impacts ng access to abortion. Ito ba yun,
Yung
Christine?
lack of access po. Kung ano po yung top 3, very, very quickly lang. And kung ano yung pinaka-call natin to everyone, kung ano pwedeng gawin.
Isa sa mga nakita din talaga namin after the report is that access to post-abortion care services will significantly reduce maternal mortality and morbidity. In fact, isa din to sa nagkaroon kami actually ng pag-change ng direction. Next year, gusto din namin magkaroon ng pagtitingin dun sa situation ng maternal health dito, no? Ayun, isa yun. Kasi nakikita namin na yung unsafe abortions talagang leading cause siya ng maternal deaths globally. So, gusto natin ilayo yung mga kababaihan from life-threatening complications. Especially yung mga nabanggit, hemorrhage, ganyan, sepsis, ganyan na caused by unsafe practices. So, pangalawa dito siguro yung psychological and social autonomy din ng babae, no? Siguro ako na ito, no? So, this is for the ability to make reproductive decisions, no? Gusto natin na magkaroon ng control yung kababaihan din sa kanyang pangangatawan. And ayun, yung forced pregnancy din, 'di ba? Maraming napag-uusapan din to sa child marriages, ganyan. So, yun yung ayaw natin na mangyari kami sa CHR, no? We support yung prohibition of child marriage. Ayaw natin na ma-force yung mga kababaihan into parenthood in circumstances na hindi sila prepared, which can also lead to stress, mental health issues.
Thank you so much, MJ. And lastly, kay Miss Christine.
Salamat sa that. I think I'll just
Sorry, Christine, paano lang ulit yung
make it to respond quickly. It results through in unsafe abortion, number one. And this unsafe abortion sa ating mga pag-aaral at sa pananalisis ng FPP at ng maraming organisasyon, it results to complications. And number three, like what MJ has already mentioned, to maternal death, to death. And so what can we do? Ay paliwanag, no? Pag-usapan ang sinabi kanina, no? It was asked by Carla Bautista earlier, that the topic of discussion, ibahagi, pagtalakayan yung mga pinakabawal na usapin. Dahil sa magitan naman, no? Maraming mga usapin noon na bawal, maraming usapin ngayon na noong unang panahon ay pinagbabawal. Ngunit dahil sa mga matatapak na babae, matatapak na mga aktivista, feminista, nagkaroon tayo, no? Dumulo ito sa mga bawal na ito doon sa dapat na. And so I think it's a continuous discussion in the community, various sectors, in the different areas. Yun lang.
Ay, maraming salamat po, Christine. So, maraming salamat sa tatlo nating speakers. Napakaganda nga ng narinig natin today, lalo na galing din kay Judy, na kaya natin tong laban na to. Kung magtutulungan tayo, we can help each other out in this fight.